This tiny module is a touch-sensitive button. It is very cheap and easy to set up, which is why you can often see it in DIY project videos. It fits on a breadboard, works from 3 to 5 volts, and you can configure it as a switch or a momentary button. Not bad when you can get 5 of these for $1. But I'm not a fan of it. Personally, I think it's okay for quick breadboard projects, but it is not ideal if you want to make something permanent. That is why I designed my own module. My goal was to fix the limitations of the cheap module and hopefully make something more practical. These come in many forms, but they all seem to use the same chip, the TTP223. It is a touch sensor integrated circuit, and looking at its datasheet, it is pretty simple to use. In a practical circuit, there's a touchpad, an output pin, and a few extra pins for configuration. The output pin is either high or low, depending on whether a touch is detected or not. But there are at least 5 things I can improve. One of the biggest drawbacks of these modules is that the output is limited to just a few milliamps. They are not made to power anything by themselves. So I could add a transistor to act as a switch for whatever load is connected. Another limitation is that they work at no more than 5 volts. So if I want to control something like a 12-volt LED strip, it would be nice to have a voltage regulator for the chip. Number 3, I want adjustable sensitivity. This would allow my custom module to detect a touch even without a direct contact. Also, I want the touch-sensitive area to be bigger, to be more like a pad that you tap with your palm, and not something the size of a button that requires a precise touch. And finally, dimming functionality. These modules can be either on or off, that's it. However, I was lucky enough to find something a bit more advanced. Technically, I could have used the same chip in my design, but that would have been boring. So I searched for alternatives, and this one caught my attention, the PT2022. Just like the TTP223, who comes up with these names anyway? You can configure it to function as a button or a switch. But it also supports LED dimming. I should be able to control the brightness of an entire LED strip. Nice! In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if these dimmable USB LED lights use the exact same chip. You can decrease or increase the brightness by holding a finger on the touch-sensitive pad. Anyway, after defining the goals of my project, I put together this schematic in Easy EDA. You can find it on my Patreon page along with all other project files in case you want to take a look. But these are the most important bits. This is the touch sensor IC, along with a 5-volt voltage regulator. This allows me to power my module from anything up to 30 volts. And this is the transistor that I picked. It is a logic level MOSFET, meaning that I can turn it on with just 5 volts, like the output of the touch IC. And this transistor can do up to 4 amps, which should be plenty. The next step is to convert the schematic into a circuit board and have it manufactured by my sponsor JLCPCB. For several years, I've been using JLCPCB to make my own circuit boards without spending a fortune. And so can you. Prices start at just $2 for 5 PCBs. Even if you need a high-performance 6-layer circuit board, JLCPCB has you covered. Upgrading to a 6-layer design allows faster, cleaner routing, and JLCPCB's accurate impedance control ensures signal integrity in high-speed projects. For a limited time, new users get an additional $33 coupon with free via-in-pad support and nickel gold finish. JLCPCB has some of the most affordable prices in the industry, enabling small teams and makers like myself to build projects with professional-level multi-layer designs. Follow my links below to get your free $33 coupon and get quality, high-performance circuit boards from JLCPCB. And now back to the project. Here's how I designed my PCB. As I mentioned earlier, one of my goals was to make the touch area bigger. The tricky part is that I'm not sure how this would affect the sensitivity of the circuit. The touch area is 4 cm in diameter, and I hope it is not going to be too sensitive. Speaking of which, the sensitivity can be adjusted by changing the value of one capacitor in the circuit. So I included 4 capacitors of different values, along with pin headers to switch between them. There is also another set of pin headers. These are to select an operational mode for the chip. More on that in a bit. This is a barrel jack for power input. There is a screw terminal for the output. And here I put a couple of status LEDs for good measure. So I sent my files to JLCPCB for manufacturing, and the modules arrived a week later. I added the missing connectors and pin headers, and now it is time to test the module. When I give it voltage from the power supply, the green LED turns on, which means the chip is now enabled. But there is still nothing on the output, or at least not until I tap on the touch-sensitive area. Then the red LED turns on, and on the output we see 12 volts. To clarify, the output voltage is almost equal to the input. The 5-volt regulator is only used to power the touch IC, and then the IC turns the MOSFET on or off when a touch is detected, which powers the device on the output. Now let's explore the different modes available with the chip. There's 8 of them in total, and one of them is selected by applying 5 or 0 volts to the 3 configuration pins. I've connected a short 12-volt LED strip for testing. The chip can work as a basic switch, turning things on and off with every tap. Or it can be a button, meaning the output is active only while I'm touching the pad. Both of these modes can be inverted, so for example, the output can be active by default and turned off only while I'm touching the sensor. The remaining 4 modes are for LED dimming. I can cycle through low, medium and full brightness with every tap, or the other way around, starting from high to low brightness. And the last 2 modes increase or decrease the brightness gradually while I'm holding a finger on the sensor. A single tap turns the light on or off. The only difference between the last 2 modes is that one remembers the last brightness level, while the other starts at full brightness every time. Every dimming mode uses a PWM signal to control the brightness, but the frequency is high enough, so there is no visible flickering. I am now curious to test how much current I can put through the module. The MOSFET on the output should be good for up to 4 amps, so let's see how it performs. This is a much bigger LED strip and it pulls a lot more current. At 3.5 amps, the temperature at the transistor can reach almost 100 degrees, which cannot be healthy. So realistically, this module is probably good for loads below 3 amps. Maybe I should have used a bigger MOSFET. Another thing I noticed was that above 2 amps, the dimming features did not work. I suspect this may have something to do with the transistor. Finally, let's examine the sensitivity of the circuit. I may have made it too sensitive. Even at the lowest setting, it activates before I've even touched the surface. And at the highest setting, it detects my palm from underneath the table. This is an advantage if I want to cover the module with something like wood or a piece of plastic, but it increases the chance of accidental triggers. The module can detect not only my fingers, but also metal objects, and even this piece of wood, probably because of the moisture in it. But once it is settled in place, even on a wooden surface, the module works fine. In practice, I haven't noticed any issues with it being overly sensitive. Once again, all the project files are on my Patreon page for everyone who wants to take a look at the circuit or the PCB, and you can also follow me there for project updates and the occasional article. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.